Take my hand. I'll lead you into death. By a Whisper in the Shadows, on AO3. Episode 20, Chapter 11. Hitoshi released a heavy breath, sinking back into his seat. A low whistle from his hide had him glancing up at Ashido, who had slaughtered herself beside him. Damn, that was intense. She laughed out, an awkward tint to her bubbly voice. You want to tell us what that's about? Hitoshi grumbled, crossing his arms and looking away. He clenched his jaw tightly when Saru spoke up. I think we all kind of know what it's about, right? The whole Reaper thing. We all have our theories, but, what you said about the boy toy? That was dumb and irrelevant. Ignore it. Hitoshi snapped, suddenly defensive for Bakugou. A complete turn of events. Besides, you guys aren't supposed to ask questions. Well, if you expect us not to ask questions when you argue right in front of us? Mineta called out from the couches behind Hitoshi. Plus, it's not like you were wrong. If we are talking about Reaper, then he's a villain, and Bakugou does have a weird obsession with him. That caused an uproar of conversation. Some agreeing, some defending Bakugou, some, read Ashido, just telling the group to shut the fuck up. Hitoshi cringed as the debate swirled around him. It was his fault, after all. He really needed to have a proper conversation with Bakugou after all this. Glancing up, Denki caught his eye, mouthing in, "Are you okay?" Hitoshi felt his heart flutter slightly, giving the other boy a half shrug, half nod. He could tell the blonde he wanted to say something, but an unexpected arrival had them all shutting up. "Sensei!" Ida alerted them all. Hitoshi flickered his head towards the main door, and sure enough, there stood his dad, eyeing them all carefully. It was hard to tell how much of the conversation he heard, though Hitoshi was sure he wouldn't mention anything. It was also hard not to notice how tired the man looked, and Hitoshi only hoped it wasn't from anything concerning his family. The class was supposed to see their teacher, and rightfully so. He hadn't meant to be coming back to school until the following week, and he had been pretty MIA for the last number of days, coming into class for only brief talks with either Hitoshi or Bakugou. Hitoshi was mainly concerned that if he was with them, then Reaper was left alone with Hizashi and Eri. He knew his fears weren't exactly fair, especially if Shouta trusted Midoriya enough to leave him, but he couldn't help it. Their teacher moved over the couches, gesturing for them all to take a seat. He continued observing them for a moment after they all sat, before speaking again. "Bakugou and Kirishima." There was a brief minute of silence, where they all looked at each other, before Yaoyorozu spoke up, clearing her throat. "Upstairs, sir. There was, She glanced quickly at Hitoshi. "A minor incident this morning?" His dad looked at him contemplatively, Hitoshi sinking further into the couch, next to Denki. This was also a conversation he knew would be coming. Not that he wanted it. Shouta grunted before continuing. "Right. Leave any questions till the end. I'm sure you're all wondering what's been going on with the Reaper case, and why I've been gone. I'm still expecting you not to pry too much, especially with Shinsou and Bakugou. They will give you the information that they want to give, and are permitted." He cleared his throat, shifting slightly. "It is true. We caught Reaper." "Quiet! We caught Reaper, but there have been a lot of complications with the case. That is all you need to know about that. The case, in your eyes, is finished now. You are no longer a part of it." There was a loud murmuring of disagreements, but was quickly silenced by a flash of erasure. "I will be returning to class Monday." Hitoshi raised his eyebrows in surprise at this development. He wasn't due back another week, when he would be bringing Reaper with him. "With me, I will bring a new student. They will, in fact, be moving in tomorrow." Another surprise development none of them were expecting. Sure, he had mentioned a new student, and though Hitoshi knew, a lot were guessing it was Reaper, but they, like Shouta, weren't meant to be coming for another week, much less the next day. Hitoshi was really not prepared for Reaper to join their ranks already. They won't be staying in the same dorm area as you, he continued. Rather, one built between the teacher's dorm and yours. If at any point you feel uncomfortable with this new student, you are to come to me or any of the other teachers, and we would do our best to help. Now, is the new student Reaper? Everyone looked to Sero, who had so boldly interrupted. Even he cringed in on himself, as if he hadn't been the one to speak out of turn. Before anything could be said, Ojiro spoke up. I would also like to know, we have our suspicions, but... He trailed off, looking around. Some voiced their agreement, while others just looked uncomfortable. Most of us presume it is, Sensei, Hakakuri said. Like, it's kind of weird to think, but it also makes sense with the timing and all, though it messes with how old we thought they were. She murmured at the end, like she was debating it with herself. Also, kind of curious what connection Bakugou has with this. Her final statement caused more of an uproar, many coming to Bakugou's defense, others adding their own questions. Hitoshi watched his dad as he watched the rest of them. To his credit, he didn't look angry, just exhausted. He heaved a large sigh before speaking over them, voice carrying over the mass group. I'm certain I told you, no questions till the end, he drawled, rubbing his eyes at the class quieting down. I suppose you do need this information. Yes, Reaper is the new student. Yes, he is the same age as you. Yes, this was a shocking development that we must be dealing with. And finally, no, I will not be answering any questions in regard to Bakugou. If there is something he wishes to share with you, he will. The only thing I will tell you is they know each other before Midoriya became Reaper. Midoriya? Todoroki questioned in the stunned silence. That's his name. Yes, if you had let me continue, I would have told you that. His name is Midoriya Izuku. Now. He crossed his arms, giving them all a cold glare. There are rules. You will not question Midoriya about his time as Reaper. You will respect him as any fellow classmate. If you do not feel comfortable with him, like I said, you come to me or another teacher. But you do not go causing issues on purpose. If you don't like him, avoid him. He is a ward of UA. He has been placed here both by Nezu and the Commission. He also has his own rules he is required to follow, which I will email to each of you along with your rules. If you see him break them, you come to me or another teacher. Similarly, if you see your classmates breaking them. He gave another large sigh, shoulders slumping slightly. Reaper's situation is far more complicated than was originally thought. Don't push at him. He's not what you're expecting. I'm not saying you let go of your fears. Just be mindful. He paused, letting the class sit with the information they were given. You're dismissed. Any questions, email me, he said with finality. Hitoshi got up with the rest of his class, making his way towards the elevators. He wanted to talk to Bakugou. Really talk. But he didn't think he was in the right mindset to do so without yelling at the moment. He sighed heavily, turning into a groan as his dad stepped into the elevator with him. Heading to your room? He asked. Hitoshi gave an affirmative grunt, knowing what was coming. The two stood silently in the elevator, and stayed that way as they walked to Hitoshi's room. The silence was just about becoming unbearable as Hitoshi debated what to say when his father spoke up. I'm sorry. Hitoshi whipped his head back to face him, eyes wide in surprise. That was definitely not how he expected this conversation to go. Hitoshi himself wanted to apologize. He just wasn't sure how to go about it. We shouldn't have thrown Midoriya on you like that. I should have told you more about him, even the little that I know. But for that, I'm sorry. I'm also sorry there wasn't anything else I could do for Midoriya's situation. Anywhere else we could put him, logically. But I need you to understand that. This isn't just a me thing, okay? This is a commission thing. A global commission thing. A UA thing. I don't have the luxury to refute. That's not true. Hitoshi cringed at the bluntness in his own voice. That wasn't what he had meant to say, but he couldn't help it. I mean, if you really didn't want to do it, you wouldn't have. You're right. Shouta mumbled, surprising Hitoshi yet again. He watched as his dad slumped into his desk chair. If I straight up refuse, they would have listened. They weren't going to force me into this. I chose to let Midoriya into our lives. But Chozi, I don't know what the outcome would have been for him if I didn't. Yes, he is a classified villain and assassin, and yes, he's done terrible things. But there's something about him, kid. Trust me, this scares me as much as it does you. But I think this way, we have a chance of saving him. They migrated back to silence, as his dad became lost in thought. Hitoshi was doing his best to wrap his head around what was he being told. He knew there was more behind Reaper's story. He just hadn't realized how worked up it was making Shouta. He still couldn't get rid of that nagging fear, however, as much as it bothered him. He was 7. His dad suddenly spoke up again. Or around that, anyways. He was a 7-year-old quirkless kid who went missing. A 7-year-old quirkless kid whose biggest dream was to become a hero. Hitoshi let himself drop onto his bed as he took in the new information. He was Bakugou's closest friend. I shouldn't be telling you that, but I feel like you might have already known. He let out a shaky breath. There's so much to the kid's story that we still don't know. So much we need to help uncover. That's why he's here. Or at least, that's why I have him here. We didn't save him before. You know, kiddo? The heroes, we failed him. I just feel like this could be our second chance. This could be his second chance. He sighed again, leaning back into his chair. That doesn't mean I'm not still apprehensive. We have all these different rules put into place for a reason. Just, you can talk to me, okay? About whatever you're feeling. Just try not to take it on a Midoriya. Please. You don't even have to pretend to like him or talk to him or anything. Just try not making it harder than it is. On him and yourself. Hitoshi stared at his dad, taking in all he had to say. It wasn't like he had already realized there must have been something more going on with Midoriya. He stayed up all night in a crisis over it. He was still in a crisis over it. Somehow, like always, listening to his dad calmed him down. He opened his eyes to how unfair he was being. He felt more guilty over Bakugou than Midoriya, but who knows what being outright hostile could do to the kid. He let out a defeated sigh, dropping his head. He resented towards Reaper wasn't going to disappear overnight. He was a naturally distrusting person. He knew something would have to change, however. Okay. He mumbled. He wasn't going to switch up his attitude completely, but he also wasn't going to be outright hostile. It wasn't fair on any of them. Hitoshi loved his dad's, and his friendship with Bakugou was important to him. He didn't want to cause unnecessary strain in an already difficult situation. I'll try do better. Shouta grunted, the chair under him squeaking as he stood. He ruffled Hitoshi's messily hair, smirking at his protest. You're doing good, kiddo. Now, I have to go discuss some things with Bakugou. I'll see you tomorrow, okay? And if you don't feel like helping to move some stuff with us, just shoot a text. There's not much, but, you know. Brushing past Hitoshi's hair a final time in departure, he turned and left the room. In a split-second decision, Hitoshi called out to him again. Can I come with you now? I need to apologize to him. Bakugou. There was a moment where his father just watched him, and even after years of living together, Hitoshi could still never decipher what was happening in his head, when he looked at him with that blank stare. But after a tense moment, he nodded before walking out the door, Hitoshi scampering after. Katsuki glared the purple hair, ass-hot, down as he stood, fidgeting in his room. Aizawa was a looming presence behind his son. Shitty hair, hovering awkwardly by Katsuki's side, as if expecting him to lash out again. He wanted nothing more than to punch this sorry fucker in the face for what he said about Izuku earlier. but he restrained himself. No matter how pissed he was, he couldn't say he didn't understand. Of course, Shinsou was wary. Izuku was previously a mass murderer and now residence in his home. He understood the fear. Shit. Reaper scared the fuck out of Katsuki before. He was blinded by Izuku being back into his life. Except, he wasn't blind. Izuku, though he was his Izuku, was still shrouded with mysteries and unpredictability. But he was still Izuku, and Katsuki would be damned if he didn't defend him, protect him till the end. Even so, he valued his friendship with Eyebags. Not that he'll ever admit it. Besides, the closer they got, the more they realized they were alike, unfortunately, which meant Katsuki understood the mind bastard was just as emotionally constipated as he was. It's whatever. He finally huffed at the boy's apology, rolling his eyes. The tension in the room quickly dissipated as the threat of another fight vanished. Just don't fucking say that shit again. Got it, Eyebags? The cocky bastard simply gave him a two-finger salute, smirking slightly at his easy attitude flowed right back into him. Asshole. All their attention turned to Aizawa as he cleared his throat. Alright then. Now that you have whatever that was sorted, Bakugou, I want to discuss something with you about Midoriya. He hesitated, looking between the other two boys, both their eyes widening. Oh, sorry, we'll go. Shitty Hair stumbled out, followed by some mumbled agreements from Shinsou. Katsuki rolled his eyes. The idiots can stay, he grunted. With that, the three of them got saluted on Katsuki's bed. Aizawa slouched on Katsuki's desk chair. It was honestly no surprise the man complained about being in pain constantly with the way he sat, and he lectured them on their well-being. Fucking hypocrite. I told the rest of your class this earlier, but we have moved the day Midoriya is moving in to tomorrow. Katsuki's eyes raised at that. I know it seems surprising, and I promise nothing went wrong for this development to occur. We just believe it would be pointless getting Midoriya used to a location only to move him out of it and have him get used to a whole new one. This way we could keep an eye on him and come back teaching the rest of you hellions sooner. Considering you're still my prime concern now. He cleared his throat, shifting slightly in his seat before locking eyes with Katsuki. Your classmates are not going to take Midoriya being here lightly. Some will be wary. Others will downright be hostile. You, Bakugou, are really going to have an open mind when integrating Midoriya into everything. Which means no fighting, or lashing out at comments or actions, okay? If something happens, you come to me, and I deal with it. We still don't know how much of Izuku's past, but despite him being Reaper, I can't imagine he's particularly fond of violence. Katsuki grumbled at that. He'd be as patient as he's fucking could, but he wasn't making any damn promises. I also forgiven both Midoriya and your classmates a number of rules. I emailed them to you as well. Some are for you to follow, some are for Midoriya. For everyone's sake, please try to be a good example with them, okay? The man sighed again, leaning back into his chair. We're going to move Midoriya in tomorrow morning, around 10, and maybe smoother. Bakugou, if you make your way over with us first. I know you always get up early anyways, so I'll have a car waiting outside for you at 9. Katsuki scoffed at the lack of choice he had, but didn't protest. He preferred it this way anyways. Hitoshi, I know you said you could help, but it would be best if you decided you wanted to. To wait here at the dorms? Similarly with you, Kirishima. The redhead gave an enthusiastic nod, smiling. I'll be happy to help, he exclaimed. Though Katsuki could still see the tension in his shoulders, he knew Kirishima was only being so positive for his sake, but he also knew how nervous Midoriya made the boy. He had witnessed 2 of Reaper's handiworks after all, and nearly watched him kill Katsuki. He understood the boy's apprehension, but he was glad he remained on his side. Grateful, even. Aizawa gave a swift nod, standing up. Okay then. Any more questions? Message me. I'll be on campus till around 3. As well if you want to come to find me. With that, he began to leave, following by the other 2 boys, who gave Katsuki a brief nod in departure. He felt as though he was wound tight, nerves filling his body, for the following day. His thoughts spiraled. He wanted to see Izuku now, but decided he'd collect himself and wait until the morning. Just as his teacher was reaching the door, a question struck him. "Oi, sensei," he called, halting the three of them. "What about the food thing? Did you figure anything else out?" He watched Shinsou scowl slightly, in memory, Aizawa's shoulders also tensing. "No. I have a meeting with the doctors who are taking care of him at the hospital later. Whatever answer they give me, I'll let you know tomorrow." He paused, eyes drifting over to Katsuki briefly, before he turned to leave again. "Make sure you get some sleep tonight. All of you. I have a feeling tomorrow's gonna be hectic." With that, Katsuki was left alone with his thoughts, shitty hair questioning the last sound drifting out of his room. He was too tense. His brain was running too fast. He needed to lose some energy, needed to dispel his frustrations, and he knew just the right remedy. Getting up, he stormed out of the room, snatching Hiroshima by the collar and dragging him away mid-sentence, ignoring his protests. "We're gonna fucking train, eyebags," he called behind him, glancing back. "You're welcome to join." A mischievous grin, to match his own, was already his only answer. Alright! Oh my god, okay. So we all heard the news. CapCut is gone! Except it fucking isn't, bitches! I got VPNs. Woo! TikTok does not work on VPNs though, so... RIP on that front. Feels so bad. Hold up, I should inform, what's it called? Hold up, I feel bad adding them. Cat. Is it cat? Is it really cat? Do they just have the thing here as cat? No, it's not cat. Put your hands up, Podfic? Wait, are they not here anymore? What? Hold up. What? Okay. I'll just reply to them in their own server. I'll do that. Okay, yeah. I can do that. Okay, where are they? Oh, this is cat! Okay, they just have it personalized, so it's just them. Okay, never mind. I'm over here worrying. @cat. I know you use CapCut to edit. So sad it left, but I found a way to get it back. While VPNs do not work for TikTok, it does for CapCut. I am still on even after seeing that little notification that it was banned. Let me first finish editing this video and then download the video into my laptop just to make sure I'm not jinxing it. But I am glad. I was trying out other softwares. I tried out like 3, 4, 5 others. It was like 4 others. No, it was 4. My bad. 4. I forgot the 4th one, mainly because I wish to forget it forever. I tried 4 other editing softwares that are free to use, and I either did not like them, they were not friendly beginner user, or they just fucking messed up my mic quality, which I just realized I did not put the suppressants for this. Oh well, I don't give a shit anymore. I am tired. And I need to record 2 more videos, and I am absolutely fucking tired. Anyways, as always, my raindrops, make sure to eat, sleep, drink water, take your meds. Have a wonderful day or night. Link to my Discord server and socials are down in the description. Subscribe to see more of my content, and thank you so much for watching.